It's the best way to start your NFL Sunday. Welcome everybody back to Sunday Morning Slants. I'm your host, Matt Watson, joined alongside Mason, Pat, and Kyle. How are we doing tonight, gents?
Electric.
I'd be better with the intro.
I know,
I
no
missed
intro
the
video.
intro.
Testing something out. Let me know in the comments if you miss it, because I do. So tonight,
RIP.
yeah, RIP the intro. Tonight we're going to be talking about the NFC North and who we think is going to be the division champ this year. And so last year, just a little bit of a recap. The Detroit Lions went 15-2 en route to a division title. They beat the Minnesota Vikings, who went 14-3 in the final week of the season to win the division. As the Green Bay Packers finished third, also made the playoffs with 3 teams in the playoffs from the NFC North last year. And the Chicago Bears finished 5-12 in Caleb Williams' rookie season. As we all know, all 3 of the North teams lost in their first round matchup in the playoffs. Packers lost to the Eagles, the Lions lost to the Commanders, and the Vikings lost to the Rams. The Vikings moved off of Sam Darnold and are going with J.J. McCarthy, who they drafted last year and missed the entire season due to a torn ACL. So Sam Darnold's now a Seahawk. The Vikings practically have a rookie quarterback taking over. Jordan Love remains in Green Bay. Caleb Williams in year 2 for the Bears, and of course Jared Goff in Detroit for the Lions. So we're going to be talking about tonight, and to kick things off, we're going to see, will the Detroit Lions repeat as division champs? So Kyle, I'm going to start with you tonight. The Lions practically ran roughshod over the league last year, but we're losing guys towards the end of the season, kind of slowed their momentum. Do you think the Lions will repeat as division champs in the North?
The Lions are an interesting team because last year at the end of the season, it was basically like that 18-year-old dog that you don't really know how it's still alive, but it just keeps going, and you're like, how is this even possible? Because they had something like 23 dudes on injured reserve by week 18, but they still won a bunch of games. So ideally they'll have better injury luck this year because a lot of those injuries were just freak accidents, like when Aiden Hutchinson just collided with another teammate's leg and his leg just exploded. That's not something you'll see often. So hopefully they have better or a positive injury regression where they'll have less overall injuries. But then you pair that with the fact they lost both coordinators, and depending on how you view Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn, that could be a pretty big deal because last time we saw this happen was with the Eagles, and the Eagles after that were not the best. So it's tough to know specifically. I think Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are just a crazy 1-2 punch. I think Gibbs could be top 3 running back in the league, maybe top 2. Honestly, in that system, he could probably have the best running back season this year, even over Saquon and Dehen. But I don't know, man. It's just losing both coordinators, and they're in a crazy division, right? 3 teams made the playoffs last season. Bears got better. Packers, they were one of the youngest teams in the league, so they'll obviously get a little better. And then you have the Vikings. So it's tough. I think there's a lot of variables, but I do think with the positive injury regression and the crazy offensive weapons, we will see the Lions repeat.
Okay. So Kyle's going to stick with the Lions. Mason, I'll throw it over to you. So, Kyle highlighted the loss of both coordinators for Detroit, but then, obviously mentioned that injuries could be in their favor in a sense this year. Do you kind of think of the same way with the Lions, if they stay healthy, that it's their division to lose, or do you feel as though another one of the teams can kind of compete with them this year?
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. The coordinators are just going to be what's going to cause the Lions to regress. Now even with all the injuries last year, they still won 15 games. So do I think it's that much of a regression that they're going to lose the division? Probably not. Also, I know it's a tough division and a lot of these teams are probably going to be good, but there's also just a lot of question marks. I guess the most sure thing this year would be the Packers. But the Bears, did not look that great last year. And obviously the new head coach and Caleb Williams coming into year 2, you would expect them to take a step forward. But are they really – I don't know how many games the Bears won last year.
5-12 last year.
So 5 wins. So are they really going to take that leap and take the division crown? I do not think so.
Yes, sir.
And the Vikings, I see some people crowning J.J. McCarthy as God's greatest gift already when he hasn't thrown an NFL pass. So that's a huge question mark for them as well. So I can see the Vikings taking a step back. So I guess in total, I think the Lions are still going to win the division, but I do still see them taking a step back this year. I think probably 11 wins is enough to win this division this year, and unless I don't know, another crazy like Vikings out of nowhere, but I think that'll be enough to get it done. And I think the Lions can reach that point pretty easily.
Yeah, it's interesting what you said about the Vikings because a lot of people are giving JJ McCarthy a lot of hype for a guy who hasn't played a game in the NFL yet. Obviously, last year's quarterback class was very highly thought of, and it kind of turned out that way as the season progressed. The thing with the Vikings for me is that you just had one of the best seasons in your franchise's history. You're a win away from the division title, and you would have had a first-round bye. Obviously, that changes the landscape of the playoffs. And because of like, maybe if they beat Detroit, they find themselves in the NFC Championship game. Like, they were really just one game away. They ended up, obviously, they played the Rams in Arizona because of the wildfires, so they had a weird situation there. And I still think they were the better team, and they just ended up losing. But you let go of Sam Darnold, who really became the guy that everybody expected Sam Darnold to be when he was getting drafted. When the Jets took him, I believe it was 3rd overall in that year's draft. Everybody expected Sam Darnold to be, the best quarterback in that class. Obviously, Baker goes number 1 of the Browns. I believe that's the same year. That was the Josh Allen draft too, right? And then Lamar went later in the first round.
No.
There was 5 quarterbacks. It was Baker, Darnold, Lamar.
Oh, was it that class? Because I know Saquon was in that class too.
Josh Rosen. I thought Josh Allen was.
Josh Rosen, what a blast from the past! I was a big Josh Rosen guy. Fucking.
Oh man, but like Darnold finally broke out. He finally was the quarterback everybody had hoped he would be when he was coming out of college.
That is crazy.
And I just think that Kevin O'Connell's done a great job with the Vikings, regardless of who he's had under center. I would have just stuck with Darnold. I mean, you just won 14 games last year. You went to the playoffs. I would try and build on that. I know you drafted JJ McCarthy to be the future, but you're hoping that he matches the season that Darnold just had. You just saw the guy, perform, and you let him walk out the door for nothing at that point. So, and he stays in the conference going to the Seahawks. So, I don't know. I feel as though that they made a mistake letting Sam Darnold walk. And McCarthy could turn out to be a really great quarterback, but in his final year at Michigan, he was known for handing the ball off. Like the Wolverines just ran over everybody. It wasn't like he was lighting up the world passing. This wasn't like Joe Burrow when he was coming out of the draft. McCarthy was known for being a system quarterback. And while I think he's in a good system with the Vikings, I just would have gone with Darnold. I think there's more potential there. So, Pat, I'll throw it over to you. Do you think the Lions are going to repeat as division champs? And what kind of obstacles do you see that might come their way this season?
Yeah, I think this one's tough. I really, honestly, when I look at the NFC North, I see a 2-horse race. I'll start by talking about the Vikings. JJ McCarthy, talented college player at Michigan, but kind of lacked that deep ball accuracy that you're kind of looking for, especially when you're talking about like Jay Jettas. Like, he's going to burn guys down the field, and you want somebody that has the chemistry and the ability to launch the ball and get it to Justin Jefferson. Especially, they have Jordan Addison. He's going to be suspended the first few games of the season, but those are 2 guys who can go deep, and you want a quarterback who's confident throwing in the league and throwing the ball deep, and I just don't see a lot of that in JJ McCarthy's game. With that being said, I think it's just going to be a learning year for him. You're learning an NFL offense. You're learning an NFL playbook. You're reading defenses. So I don't think the Vikings are going to do horrible, but I don't think that they're going to win the division. I certainly don't think the Bears are going to win the division with Caleb Williams. The Bears, it's a tale as old as time, the Bears being bad in today's modern game, modern age. There's nobody really on the team, on the roster that stands out outside of like a DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift, who just feels like actually no, Olamide Zacchaeus is there. Never mind. Let me take that back. There's some players that stick out.
Big year for him last year.
But Case Keenum's their third.
It's Olamide, by the way.
I just learned that Olamide Zacchaeus. My bad.
Olamide.
So there's just nobody on their roster that sticks out as like this is star power. And then we get to the Green Bay Packers, and you see a wide receiver core that's already been devastated by injuries through the first couple of weeks of training camp. And so it's like, can they keep that young core healthy? They've got some dynamic players there. And I think they're going to be fun to watch. But in my eyes, when you look at the Packers, it's kind of the air offense versus when you look at the Lions, it's that ground and pound like Kyle was talking about with two of the best running backs in the league. So I have the Packers and the Lions fighting for it, but I ultimately think the Lions are going to come out on top. You know, they have an experienced quarterback in Jared Goff. They just have a deadly running back core, and then they have a great receiving core: Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, who had a great season last season. So I do have the Lions taking this one, but I think you're going to see some good things out of the Green Bay Packers if they can stay healthy.
Yeah, so I would agree with that because I honestly think the Packers are going to win the division this year. I think they're going to upset the Lions in that sense. The thing with Green Bay, so last year they start the season against the Eagles in Brazil. Weird way to start the year. And on like the last play of the game, Jordan Love gets injured, and he ended up missing the next couple of weeks. The Packers did win those games.
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis came in and played well.
My goat.
But I don't think that Jordan Love ever got settled last year. I think after, he had a solid year, but I just think that he was turning the ball over a little bit more than I feel like he did the year prior. And I just don't think he took the next step like a lot of people were expecting. So, knock on wood, if he remains healthy early in the year, I think that'll allow him to get in more of a groove and allow him to play better. Another thing with the Packers last year is they had one win in the division. They split with the Bears, lost both games to the Vikings and both games to the Lions. I just don't see that happening again.
That is tough.
Yeah, and obviously the Vikings and the Lions were great teams, so it's not like they were losing to to bad teams in that regard.
They have 6 losses. That means they only lost one game out of division.
Yeah, they were 1-5 in the division, and then they only lost to the Eagles outside of the division.
That is diabolical.
Is that for real?
Yeah. So you got to think the division is probably going to regress. So you should pick up a couple wins there, and then obviously we're not going to sweep the rest of your schedule at that point. But I just think the Packers are a really solid team, and I like the weapons they have. They drafted Matthew Golden from Texas in the first round, a wide receiver. First time they've taken a receiver in the first round, I think, like ever, to add to the core that they already had, which they had a lot of number 2 guys, in my opinion, last year. They didn't have a true number 1, but they had a lot of complementary wide receivers. So I think they envision Golden being a number 1 wideout, and the rest of the guys kind of, following suit. So it'll be interesting to see. Like Pat did mention, though, like all their wide receivers are injured right now in preseason. So we'll see who rolls out in week 1. But, I think I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers. And another thing, too, I do think that the Packers have the best quarterback in the division. I do think that Jordan Love is the most talented. And he might not be the most accomplished because that'll be Goff, but I do think Jordan Love is the best quarterback in the division. What do you guys think about that?
I think it's going to be Caleb Williams. I'm about to spew so much Bears propaganda. I think there's some Bears haters in here that think, the old Bears. Caleb Williams did not have a bad season last year. He had 3,500 yards, 20 passing touchdowns, only 6 picks. Now, you might say that isn't the best. That's kind of average. But I counter with he didn't even have a coach to go over film with him. They just gave him the things and said, all right, good luck, pal. So the Bears did nothing to oversee his development. That organization was run like a disaster. So now we get Ben Johnson in there, who's a known architect of offense. So he's really going to get the most out of Caleb Williams. So then, we have Caleb Williams and we have Ben Johnson. Now, what else did we do? They added Joe Tooney in the interior, all-pro offensive guard when he's not playing tackle going against the GOAT Nolan Smith. When he's actually inside playing his regular position, he's good. And they overhauled the other 2 positions inside, and they also have Darnell Wright on the tackle. So their O-line will be a lot better. And then we look at their weapons. Not only do they have Luther Burden, who they just drafted, they also have Colston Loveland to go along with Rome Odunze, who was in Shane Waldron prison last year. When you look at JSN year 1 to year 2 after he left the Waldron offense, he exploded. So I think Rome Odunze is going to do the same thing. So then you have crazy weapons, almost on Detroit level wide receiver wise. Running back wise, not at all. DeAndre Swift, he's serviceable, but he's nowhere near Jahmyr Gibbs. Kyle Monangai, though, Rutgers legend.
Are you?
He might be the best one out of anyone Ben Johnson's ever had. But other than him, running backs, nothing to write home about. And then their defense is going to be average, which is fine. So I think the Bears could surprise a lot of people. And if I had to pick someone to upset the Lions, It would be the Bears.
Wow.
Okay. So who finishes last?
The Bears do have the third hardest schedule projected.
That's Are you serious? Even with the NFC East?
Because they're playing in like a gauntlet of a division.
Oh yeah, that's the NFC East, and then the fucking.
That might
NFC
change
The
though.
Lions do have the second though, so I guess.
Oh, there you go.
Who has the hardest? Is it Green Bay?
Looks like the Giants.
Yeah,
They're
the
gonna have
Giants-
one
The
year.
Giants got screwed, dude. Because they play. Doesn't the NFC East play the NFC North?
I know they
Did
play the
schedule
AFC
make us
West.
do that?
They play the
looks
AFC
like-
West and I think the NFC North. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
looks like
they get the two best divisions. So the Giants are eating good. They're getting spanked.
Danger Witch.
Yeah, the Danger Witch coming to New York. Yeah, but who finishes last?
I like it.
I don't know, man. I mean, whoever finishes last is probably gonna be like friggin' 10-6.
10
So
wins.
it's hard to tell. But I would say the Packers at 9-7.
Wow.
So you're gonna
Some
go
injury.
Lions, Bears, Vikings, Packers.
Yeah. Yep. I'm a big Caleb Williams guy. I think he gets a lot of shit for no reason. Well, there's obviously some reasons, but I think he's overhated. I think he had a decent rookie season, all things considering.
Probably a little overshadowed by Jaden Daniels too. And
Yeah,
I agree
exactly.
with the Bears. Yeah.
When you have a bunch of god rookies taking the field like Bo Nix and Jaden Daniels, it's
Mhm.
kind of hard when you just have like an above average season.
A bunch of slop around you too. At least those were
Yeah,
those guys were on competent-esque teams.
Yeah.
Hey, Bo Nix led all rookies in touchdowns. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly.
Not
Bo
Jaden
Nix
Daniels.
and Jaden Daniels.
Not Jaden
They're
Daniels.
lighting it up. Caleb Williams is dealing with a freaking 1980s Corolla with no wheels. So like Bo Nix has got the best defense in the league.
Damn right.
So like I don't know. I think the Bears could have a big season.
Okay.
You
All
and
right.
every other
That is what
Bears
people
fan.
say last year, but
That is
I
what
do
people say.
I do agree. I just don't know if it's as much of a jump to take the division.
I don't know about division, but I think they're not going to be scrubs anymore.
So do you guys think that the Bears can make the playoffs?
Yes.
Is that your line?
Yes.
Like Bears
I
can make the
think
playoffs.
playoffs.
Tough in that division. That would to me that would mean like everyone in that division would have to make the playoffs.
No, Packers will miss the playoffs.
So you think they're finishing fourth, Mason?
That would be
That's
crazy.
what it sounds like.
That would be crazy.
You're like,
I mean,
everybody
could
has
it
to
not
make
be
it.
realistic that all of those teams have 10 wins? I mean, like I know the division's going to beat up on it. They're going to have to beat up on each other, but like to me, those all seem like the Bears would be the biggest stretch, I guess. But like I mean, if everything goes well for the Bears, they could win 10 games, and I think all the other teams are more than capable of winning 10 games.
I think this is going to be determined by injuries and which teams get bad.
And what was
injury
the worst team last year with the 7 game? Like normally 9 wins is like that last seed, right? Depending on
Yeah.
like
Depending on the
records.
year, yeah.
Depending on last year it was like 11. So
Oh really?
yeah, Packers were the 7th seed with like 11 wins.
Yeah, they
the
were the
Commies-
7th seed with 11
The
wins.
Commies went 12-5, and then the
So, yeah.
Vikings
And the Broncos were the
14-3.
7th seed, and they were 10-7. So you have to get at least 10 wins now.
The
to make the
Broncos won
playoffs.
10 games last year.
Yes, sir.
Jeez, everybody
Yes,
was
sir.
winning 10 games. Never mind, maybe the Bears can do it this year. Jeez, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
My God.
We're trailing 10-7 to Buffalo at the half. Just saying.
I think that the Vikings are going to be the worst. Actually, well, I don't know. The Bears might be worse than the Vikings, but I really do think the Vikings are not going to have a good season this year
I
with
agree.
JJ McCarthy.
I do think the year with JJ, the gap year with JJ McCarthy is kind of taken away. Like I feel like I see so many people talking about how great JJ McCarthy is going to be, and like it took Matt reiterating that he literally just handed the ball off at Michigan for me to be like, is JJ McCarthy going to be good?
Yeah, I'm not a big JJ
He's
guy,
got a
but
lot of
I'm
weapons
also
around
not a
him,
film
but
aficionado, so I really have no idea what the fuck I'm talking about in terms of.
I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I watch every weekend of college football, but I don't know. I remember in that national championship run, I wasn't very.
yeah, I was
impressed.
not a big
Yeah.
JJ
That's
guy.
definitely
I'm
what
like,
he
this
was
guy's
known
going in the first
It
round.
was just
But
it
maybe-
was Donovan Edwards, right? He was just
Yeah, it
a
was
field
Edwards
general to
and-
Donovan
And
Edwards.
another guy. So it
Yeah.
was his junior year. In 15 games, he threw for 2,991 yards. I feel
Dude,
like that's
Caleb
not-
Williams beat that, and he was on the Bears.
that's some Jalen Hurts stats.
He
That's
threw
the college stats.
22 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And then let's see.
I mean,
We're
they
gonna
are-
pull-
I want to know his deep ball percentage.
For reference, Joe Burrow in his senior year threw 60 touchdown passes,
Like
6
fucking
interceptions
5,000
for
yards.
5,671 yards.
That's the
What
SEC.
about Jameis? Pull the Jameis stats up.
Let's see. Jameis.
In college?
Yeah, what was he? West Virginia?
Jameis was cooking.
No, it was,
Jameis was Florida.
Florida.
Florida
This is-
State.
yeah, not a
Oh,
college football pod. Jameis
Not a
Winston
college.
threw for 3,900 yards, 25
There you go.
touchdowns, 18 interceptions.
Oh, even in college he had. it.
Yeah.
He was throwing the picks.
I love that.
Yeah,
Last gunslinger we've ever seen. 30 for 30.
30 for 30.
Go.
What a season.
Eat the W. That's what they'll call it.
EW.
But
Well,
okay,
he might-
so yeah,
he might
I
throw
mean,
3 picks, but he's getting
I
500
want to know
yards.
what
in
G.
a
I want to know
he's
what
getting,
Gino
that
threw
the
for.
Browns Broncos Monday Night Football game is the greatest example of a Jameis Winston led football team because the Browns were balling that night. I think Jerry Judy had like 200 yards.
Dude, wasn't it
Yeah, I remember
250?
that. He had like 40 fantasy points for me that week. I was
Mhm.
what the hell's going on?
But Jameis
And
threw
they
2
lost.
picks at the end. To throw the game away. In
My
fact,
God.
let me pull his stats from that game because I mean that was I think that was like one of the best primetime games of the year last year.
That was electric. He just kept going.
They
Kept
just-
getting yards.
Let's see. Let's check out this box score. The Broncos won that game for reference, 41-32. Jameis had 497 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, 3 picks.
In the
What a
snow
James
too,
Winston
right?
game.
Wasn't it snowing for some of it?
I think it did snow a little bit. Yeah.
Bro,
Jeez.
he's going to be electric on the Giants if he plays. Malik Neighbor is going to have 300 fucking yards.
Yeah. No, that's gonna be a fun team to watch. Russ, Jameis, Tommy DeVito is still there, and then they have Jackson Dart.
Is he really?
Tommy
Yeah,
DeVito's still
They
on
have
that
4
team.
quarterbacks. He might go to the practice squad. But yeah, they did bring him back. So
Oh, bro.
Hey Matt, you were right earlier, by the way. Baker, Darnold, Allen, Rosen, Lamar, 2018 NFL draft.
What a crazy
what a great draft.
backloaded QB draft.
What is Josh Rosen doing?
What is
right
Josh
now?
Rosen updated his LinkedIn last time I checked, so that's how things are going for
Bro,
him.
he's not even – dude, I don't even think he made it through his rookie contract.
Dude,
No,
his
he
middle
didn't.
name was Bollinger.
That's a
He
shame.
was destined to be great in the
He was
league.
destined to be great. Yeah, Cardinals dumped him after like 1 season for Kyler.
Oh, he's at Wharton now. Never mind, I remember that now.
Well, good for Josh Rosen. Hope you're doing
He's
well.
at Wharton. Yeah,
if
good
you're
for
listening-
him.
Podcast episode. Best of luck to you in
Which
your future endeavors.
we know you are.
Which we know you are.
Yeah,
Big Josh Rosen.
yeah, after
pod.
that Tanner McKee shout out last week, I'm sure everybody's tuning in. to
All
see
the
him.
backups are tuning in.
is.
But okay,
They
so
want. They want.
they want the shout out. So I'm gonna go with the Packers. You guys are gonna go with the Lions for the NFC North this year to repeat as champs. I think it again probably might be the best division of football. We'll see. Either that or the NFC West. So, but okay, yeah, that's gonna
Bias.
conclude. Yeah, that heavy bias, and we
NFC
will.
East.
Yeah, no, you can't call it the NFC Beast when the Giants and Cowboys exist.
Cowboys winning 13 games, bro.
Oh
Dude,
my
I
God.
had a Cowboys fan legitimately tell me the other day that they were gonna win like 13 games, and I'm not
They are.
exaggerating.
We them boys. But yeah,
Every
if you
team's
missed our
gonna
NFC
go
East
14 and
episode,
3.
check that one out. But next week we'll be diving into the AFC West, and we'll be seeing if
Oh, I
think-
can't wait. A
a little bit of a
Easiest.
spoiler.
Easiest division in football.
What if Justin Herbert finally turns it around?
If man,
Did you see he's dating
Madison Beer, yeah, bro.
That's the beer.
he's gonna cook this year. This is his year.
He's cooking.
Justin
He's gonna
Herbert's
What
cook.
if he's got a
What
hot girlfriend? We're gonna
Maybe
find
this
out.
time he'll 27-0 lead.
What if Justin Herbert does great this year?
Broncos
What
at 4, a little teaser, a little
Oh,
appetizer.
okay, yeah, you're gonna go with Gino and the Raiders.
Yep.
Yeah,
Okay.
actually, yeah. I might pick him to win the division.
Oh my
Might pick him
god.
to win the
Yeah, you
Super
didn't even
Bowl.
know Gino was on the Raiders until about 3 minutes before this
Hey,
episode.
come
Ashton
on, man,
Genty,
come
bro.
on.
Hell, he's going to take him to promised land, just like Saquon.
He will take them to 4-13. But okay, no, I appreciate everybody for hopping on. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next Tuesday with the AFC West. So make sure you check out our other episodes as we lead up to the NFL kickoff on September 4th. So appreciate it, everybody. Have a good night.